Hi folks, here we are again on Mod Radio, sat on the sofa in Junkyard Dawg Studios in sunny Shildon. It's me, Little Johnny Young, and him, Big John Cumberland. So, who's our guest today, JC?
Well, today, John, you won't believe it. Our guest today is Little John Young. That's who we've got on today, mate. Yeah. So, John, is there a particular song that you'd like to start the show on today, my friend?
There is actually, yes. Have you heard of Frankie Lane?
Well, probably.
Well, he's one of my all-time favourites.
Get away.
Yeah. And I'd like us to play, if you could, Woman in Love.
Why not? Could we have that, please, sir? Maestro, Woman in Love by Mr. Frankie Lane for Little John Young.
Your eyes are the eyes of a woman in love, and oh, how they give you away. Why try to deny you're a woman in love when I know very well what I say? I say no moon in the sky ever lent such a glow. Some flame deep within made them shine. Those eyes are the eyes of a woman in love, and they gaze evermore into mine, crazily gaze evermore into mine. Those eyes are the eyes of a woman in love, and may they gaze evermore into mine, crazily gaze evermore into mine.
Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. That was Woman in Love by Little John's Frankie Lane. Now, John, how are we keeping, mate? All right?
I'm completely shocked, I'm sorry.
Aye.
I thought we'd got another guest today.
Yeah.
So,
But we haven't. You're the guest today, all right? So the first question, John, put you on the spot. Tell us a little bit about your early life.
well,
I know you're from Sheffield.
I was born in Sheffield in 1953, so you can add up the years if you like.
There's no spring chicken, that's what you made. Come on.
And I'm a bit shocked here, John, because this wasn't the plan for the show.
Well, it was my plan.
But
You just didn't know, right?
yeah, so I was born in Sheffield,
Yeah.
brought up in Sheffield, served an engineering apprenticeship in the city.
Yeah.
Eventually started my own business, an engineering company, making products and exporting them all around the world.
I mean, obviously now you're a retired old fogey, but going back to them early years, John, how did you, because I mean, you're like me, obviously, you love your music, that's why we do this.
Yeah.
So can you tell me, you know, when you first, was your mum and dad, were they interested in music?
Yeah, I suppose going back to my childhood in Sheffield in the late 50s, early 60s, like many industrial cities, there were a lot of working men's clubs.
Yes.
My mum and dad were a member of a local working men's club, so they would go there regularly. My dad was a country music fan,
Right.
really, I suppose.
Is that where your pal there comes into it?
Frankie.
Frankie.
Well, yes and no. I just like his music. It's country music. I suppose I liked it, funnily enough, from him singing Rawhide, Champion the Wonder Horse, which were programmes that we watched as kids on TV.
I mean, to be fair, the guy was a professionally trained singer. He was opera standard, wasn't he?
Yes, he
I don't know
was,
if he was
yeah.
an opera singer, but he was opera standard.
Yeah.
And I mean, I joke about him every week because obviously you try to put him in, but you've had your own way there.
That's brilliant.
You know, you've
yeah.
had one, but I might be the only one, mind.
All right.
It's your show, but like, you know. So there you go. Right. So have you got a particular song, John, that would take you back to your youth?
I've got one that I would like to play. My mum's still alive, bless her. And when I used to come home from school, my mum would be in the kitchen normally, ironing. I don't know why she was ironing every day, but it seemed like every day. And she'd have the record player on, and Jim Reeves was always on the record player. And so I think a song that I remember from those days would be Distant Drums by Jim Reeves.
Well, John, Distant Drums by Jim Reeves for Little John.
Thank you.
Happy memories.
I hear the sound of distant drums far away, far away. And if they call for me to come, then I must go, and you must stay. So marry, marry me, let's not wait. Let's share all the time we can before it's too late. Love me now, for now is all the time there may be. If you love me, marry, marry, marry me. I hear the sound of bugles blow far away, far away. And if they call, then I must go across the sea, so wild and gray. So marry, marry me, let's not wait. For the distant drums might change our wedding day. And love me now, for now is all the time there may be. If you love me, marry, marry, marry me.
For anybody who doesn't know Little John,
Well,
I hope you don't mind us calling you Little John. I know you're 6'2", but
I'm used to it.
you know, there's only me can call you, though,
Yeah, exactly.
you know. But you call me Big John, so it's
I
like,
know.
you know. I mean, you've had a diverse range of business interests, obviously, throughout your life. What's your hobbies?
Well, obviously football's a great passion.
John's a Blade for life, by the way, listeners, which is a Sheffield United supporter. I'm sorry to say, but there you go. Yes,
Yeah,
John.
it has been a passion for most of my life. Even when I was working, my wife and 2 children, we would go to the home and away games. So that was part of our social life at that time.
But you still do. You still go.
I still go to the home games, yeah, and away games, hopefully, when I can. And now that they've just been promoted to the Premiership, hopefully it's going to be even more exciting. So that's my little plug for my football team, Sheffield United.
Yeah. And like Frankie Lane, it's the only one you're going to get.
Right, thanks.
So, I mean, obviously, we met a long time ago.
We did.
And it's amazing that we have very similar passions in the music side of things. And you've been involved with the making of the movie Bopper and Me.
Yeah, for my sins.
Yes. And I must say, listeners, that if it wasn't for Little John, the movie would never have been completed, because he came out and gave me a push when I needed it, give me that injection of adrenaline that I needed when I was down.
I don't think that's strictly true, but I appreciate what you said. I think, going back to hobbies, obviously since you and I met a long time ago.
I'm serious. I mean, if I'd never let Little John, with regards to the movie, I'd have saved a fortune, because it's cost us an absolute fortune since he made us continue doing it.
No, but that's been an amazing story, and hopefully we can talk a little bit more about that later on.
Later on, yeah.
But hobbies, really, I suppose, I've mentioned football. I've got 5 wonderful grandchildren. So really...
John, what about the art?
Well, I'll get to that.
You're very well known for your art, obviously.
No. No, so my grandchildren, and then since I sold my business, I actually got interested in art, and it was actually through a guy called Valdemar Janusak. He's an art historian and art presenter, and I started watching some of his shows, and I just connected with it because he was talking to the common man, and that's who
there's not many more common than you.
No, but that's who I like to think I am. He wasn't talking about things that, sometimes can be a bit pompous. He was just talking to ordinary people like me, and I just found it very interesting. And then he did a series on American art called Big Art, Big Skies, I think it was. And it covered various artists, and there was a guy called Jackson Pollock.
So is he your favourite artist, Jackson Pollock?
Well, it's interesting because it was probably the nearest to art that I could do. It looked to me like Jackson threw paint at pictures.
What John does, listeners, if I can just tell you, I have a lot of his work in here, which is very good, but sometimes he takes a very, very good photograph, a very, very good photograph, and then he destroys it by throwing paint all over it. Now, if that's art, John, I'm sorry, but the photograph looked great beforehand, and then it's covered in paint.
Well,
but I suppose it's in the eye of the beholder,
It is, and I enjoy doing it, and I also make artwork guitars.
They are excellent, by the way.
Of which you have a couple here at the studio.
Well, what happens? The ones what he can't sell, I end up with.
Yeah, I give them all. I give them all to John.
No, they are great,
and he looks after them in the showroom. So that is my hobby. Obviously, for 4 years, the movie that you've been making and your passion about the Bopper that I got involved with you has been an amazing journey. It's just been incredible, really. It's
so you've been on the journey with us. Mm-hmm. You're part of the journey. What about a Big Bopper song? Have you got a favourite, or is there a song of his that you?
I think the most famous song of his, and we all have to agree, is Chantilly Lace, and he's written lots of other songs, and I wasn't aware of some of the other songs until until we really got together and I got more involved with the film, and you started telling me about, well, he's done this and he's done that, and the guy is actually quite amazing. But to pick a song now, I would like to pick Running Bear. I think it's a great song. It brings back some special memories for me. I was lucky enough to go and play football in France on a number of occasions in a tournament there, and Running Bear was a song that all the team loved to sing, whether we were winning or losing. So brilliant. Yes, Running Bear by Johnny Preston.
So that's a song
written by the Big Bopper, by the way.
Well, written by J.P. Richardson.
Sorry,
that's
J.P.
correct name.
Yeah.
Fantastic song. In actual fact, I think it was the biggest hit of 1960.
Right.
1959, it was 1960, I think it was the biggest hit of that year. Running Bear, written by J.P. Richardson, a.k.a. the Big Bopper, for his very good friend, Johnny Preston. Mr. John.
Thank you.
Of the river stood Running Bear, young Indian brave. On the other side of the river stood his lovely Indian maid. Little white dove was her name, such a lovely sight to see. But their tribes fought with each other, so their love could never be. Running Bear, love little white dove, with a love big as the sky. Running Bear, love little white dove, with a love that couldn't die. He couldn't swim the raging river, 'cause the river was too wide. He couldn't reach little white dove waiting on the other side. In the moonlight he could see her throwing kisses across the way. Her little heart was beating faster, waiting there for her brave. A running bear, love little white dove, with a love big as the sky. Running bear, love little white dove, with a love that couldn't die. Running bear, dove in the water, little white dove did the same, and they swam out to each other. Through the swirling stream they came. As their hand touched and their lips met, the raging river pulled them down. Now they'll always be together in that happy hunting ground. Running bear, love little white dove, with a love big as the sky. Running bear, love little white dove, with a love that couldn't die.
John, did you, during your childhood, did your parents have any influence on what you decided to do in life? Or was there somebody else who was influential, I should say, in your choice of your vocation, so to say?
I had a great childhood. My parents weren't particularly wealthy. My father was a motor mechanic. My mother was a housewife, and she never went to work. So as a child, I got an immense amount of love from my mother constantly. My dad, as I said, he was a motor mechanic, so we always had cars at our house, other people's cars. He would be repairing them. I also lived next door to my grandmother, and my father was one of 11 children. So as you can imagine, it was pretty hectic. Lots of uncles, aunties, people around us. Now, to other people, it must have looked a bit odd, I suppose, looking out, looking in. But as a child, having all these people around you, spoiling you or giving you attention, my life was full. and you know, and growing up into my teens, my father then went to work for a scrap processing company, or George Cohen as they were known at the time, and I'm sure you know who that is, John. So he became a service engineer, and he had a van, and if ever he backed the van up the drive when he was coming home, I knew there was something in the back of that van for me. Whether it was a motor scooter, a go-kart. So there's always something happening, you know, to mess around with, to play with. We must have been a nightmare to some of the neighbours, I've got to be honest. Although everybody seemed all right and we never had any trouble, I can look back and think if I'd got neighbours like we were now, I'd be going insane. But no, a lovely childhood.
You had a good friend when you were younger, Butch.
Yeah, and
did he?
No, he didn't have a big influence on my life. He was just a friend, and you know, we'll leave that there. I think, you know, I think growing up was great fun. Did they have an influence on my career? Only that living in Sheffield, most people were destined to go and work in the steelworks or down the pit.
But I think when you're saying your father was a mechanic, you went in engineering.
Yeah.
So I think he did have an influence.
Yes.
You obviously helped him repair stuff.
Yeah, I mean, by the time I was 13 years old, I could strip an old side valve engine down in a car, decoke it, and help put it back together. You know, and having various motorcycles and motor scooters, I could strip those down, and so that was just something I inherited from my dad, I suppose. You know, so from that point of view, but in Sheffield, John, it was a steel city really, and engineering, but steel, and obviously coal mines were around, and so most working class people's lives were programmed to do that particular work, to move into that. You know, I passed what we had in Sheffield then as 13 plus. So I went to a school called Central Technical School in Sheffield.
Right, take yourself back 13 plus years. Let's have a song from them days.
Oh.
And while you're thinking about it, I was just thinking, because obviously you were pretty good at repairing things when you were younger.
Yeah.
So is that why now you've got one of the most unreliable cars on the road, so you can keep repairing?
Yes, it keeps my hand in. That's why I like doing that. The song, there is a song I'd like to choose, and you know what?
It's not from Jesse Yates, Stars and Sundry.
No, I can't remember the title. I think it's called It's Good News Week, and it was...
It is called It's a Good News Week.
I'm just trying to think of the guy who sang it. It's about the Jordan River overflowing, and it just has a relevance to today, but it was a song back from then, and I can't... Oh, crikey. I can't think of the title.
Well,
can we...
We'll find it for you. What the name of the song again,
It's
John?
Good News Week.
It's Good News Week.
It's Someone's dropped a bomb somewhere, contaminated the atmosphere. It's a pretty depressing...
Would you like a little information?
Come on.
Please.
Well, you've picked a local band. They were a Stockton band.
Were they?
Yeah, they were called Hedgehoppers Anonymous.
That's it.
Yeah.
Amazing. Okay, John, so it's Good News Week by Hedgehoppers Anonymous. A local band, I believe, from Stockton-on-Tees.
Well, that's news to me, but thanks.
There you go.
It's Good News Week. Someone's dropped a bomb somewhere, contaminating atmosphere and blackening the sky. It's Good News Week. Someone's found a way to give the rotting dead a will to live, go on and never die. Have you heard the news? What did it say? Who's won that race? What's the weather like today? It's Good News Week. Lots of blood in Asia now. They butchered off the sacred cow. They've got a lot to eat. It's Good News Week. Doctors finding many ways of wrapping brains in metal trays to keep us from the heat. It's Good News Week. Someone's dropped a bomb somewhere, contaminating atmosphere and blackening the sky. It's Good News Week. Someone found a way to give the rotting dead a will to live, go on and never die. Have you heard the news? What did it say? Who's won that race? What's the weather like today? What's the weather like today? It's Good News Week. Lots of blood in Asia now. They butchered up the sacred cow. They got a lot to eat. It's Good News Week. Doctors finding many ways of wrapping brains in metal trays to keep us from the heat. To keep us from the heat. To keep us from the heat.
That was a song called It's Good News Week by Hedgehoppers Anonymous, a local band from Teesside. How about that, mate?
Yeah, I didn't know that, but it's a great song.
But obviously, our sound man Damien knows all about that area.
He does, he's a great guy.
Right, you know when you were a younger lad?
Yeah.
I mean, you've got to have a good memory for this, obviously. But we're going back to Sheffield. I mean, Sheffield was a very industrious area at that particular time.
Very, yes, very dirty city, and I don't mean dirty. I mean because of the nature of the industry, steelworks producing steel. It was a very, very, hard environment.
I mean, it's changed from all recognition, like all places have now.
Yeah,
all industrial areas, which we've all from the north, the northeast.
Exactly, that's the same.
But in your early years, you must have. I know myself, I wouldn't have changed it because I think you meet a lot of characters, and especially in your town, likes of Sheffield and the likes of here, there's people that stand out. Is there any particular characters that you grew up knowing that I'm not saying influenced you, but you can sometimes happily think about, they're in your memories and you think, you put a smile on your face or for some other reason, good or bad?
I suppose it depends from what time in your life. As a child, there were a few odd characters who lived nearby, who sadly at times we probably took the mickey out of. Is there
any particular antics you got up to as a young child? As a teenager, anything, like bow and arrows or anything like that? Did you have anything to do?
Well, we did once. We did once have a gang. I was a member of a gang, and not the type of gangs that you would associate with today, but we lived on the edge of a council estate in Sheffield, and I was a member for a while of a gang. We called ourselves the Black Shadow Gang, but we were I don't know, not teenage, but maybe around 11, 12. And we did capture somebody from another gang. I hope I'm all right saying this now. And we tied him to a lamppost. And in those days, William Tell was on TV. And I don't know if you saw the beginning where they had an apple on someone's head and they shot the arrow and shot it off. Well, the leader of our gang tied this kid up who we didn't like, put an apple on his head, and shot an arrow at the apple, but it didn't. The apple hit his forehead, and it stuck in his head, and he slumped down. And
I'm sorry, I shouldn't laugh.
We thought we'd killed him. I know it's a childish thing now. We went across the road, and it wasn't as bad as we thought.
But John, I did these things when we were young. I can remember, playing stupid games. But when I was a kid, I don't know what you were like. There was no maliciousness. There was no. We were more mischievous, but I'll tell you what we all did, and I mean, it's not that long ago. we used to walk around with sheath knives on.
Yes, and
you
the
know,
people
we'd
did
have
that, I know
bow and
that.
arrows.
Yeah.
We'd be going in the woods. We'd be going, you know. And I can't remember anybody saying, "Oh, so and so's being stabbed," or this is
I
happening.
know.
But we used to go and we used to get bits of wood and we'd like make little bows. And that's what we used to do. Innocence.
Yeah, I agree.
But at that particular time, you know, I can remember walking around with a bowie knife on.
Yeah.
And nobody said, "Have you seen that knife?"
Yeah, I know.
It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy now. I know,
Times have
looking back.
changed.
But I'm pleased we had those days.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, now we know, goodness great, if you saw somebody now walking around with that, you know,
well, they'd be arrested.
The armed police would be out.
That's right.
But, so going back to them early days, obviously with your pals, what sort of music, well, can you remember what sort of music, or was it just when you got into your early...
I would say, if I'm honest, John, after that 11, 12 period, probably early teens, in Sheffield, there was a big soul music.
Yes.
It was a big soul music scene, you know, and lots of the Tamla Motown artists, you know, came to Sheffield, and, you know, and my wife certainly saw a lot of them when she was young, and I think we were all influenced by the clubs that we had. Like a lot of church halls became clubs, and I'm sure it's the same for you when you were younger. That, you know, for something for the young kids to do, church halls would become discos. You know, in our early teens.
So your early teens. So Alison, that's John's wife, lovely lady and a great friend. How old were you when you met Alison?
18.
You were 18, but did you know her before that? Or,
No.
No, you didn't, because I think I'm right in saying that Alison was a bit posh, wasn't she? She came from the posh side of town.
Well, actually, she didn't really come from the posh side of town. She probably lived in an area that, you know, was closer to the industry.
Right. Okay.
Her mum was very posh.
Yes.
Her dad was a cobbler, worked for himself for a while, and then went to work for the city council.
So what did they think of you when they first met you, John?
Well, I'm not sure really. I can't. I think they thought I was all right. You know what I mean?
Well, it's lasted a bit, hasn't it?
Yeah, 44 years I think now. So.
So right then, let's go back to when you met Alison.
Yeah.
What about a song for you two? Let's dedicate it to your gorgeous wife, Alison.
Well, there are two songs I'd like to play if possible.
Yeah. I'll see if I can work that out for you.
The two reasons, I used to have to catch a bus or two buses to go and see Alison before I could drive, and she'll kill me for saying this, but she used to walk me back to the bus stop when I'd been over to her house. And
well, she's taller than you. Maybe just protect this, John. In case you got picked up.
She used to sing, which is a bit soppy, I suppose, but it was lovely. Unforgettable by Nat King Cole.
And did she sound like Nat King Cole?
No, she didn't sound like
him. She doesn't look like him.
But it was a song that we always remember and we still laugh about to this day. And the second song I'd like to play specifically for my wife is Al Green, Let's Stay Together.
Well, I think that's two marvellous choices, especially Nat King Cole. I love Nat King Cole. So yes, we'd like to play Unforgettable by Nat King Cole and
Let's Stay Together by Al Green.
Let's Stay Together by Al Green. And Ali, you deserve a medal for stopping together with him, by the way. So for John and for Ali, they're both for you.
Thank you.
I'm so in love with you. Whatever you want to do is all right with me. 'Cause you make me feel so brand new. And I want to spend my life with you. And they say, sing, baby, since we've been together, ooh, loving you forever is what I need. Let me be the one you come running to. I'll never be untrue. Oh, baby, let's stay together, loving you weather, times are good or bad, happy or sad. Ooh, yeah. Well, the times are good or bad, happy or sad. Why people break up? Oh, and turn around and make up. I just came to see you'd never do that to me, would you, baby? Spinning around you is all I see, is what I want to do. We ought to stay together, loving you weather, times are good, bad, happy or sad. Come on,
You know, John, what amazes me about you, because John's like a man of many faces. When I see an early photograph of John when he was getting married, he was the spitting image of Leo Sayer. And as he's aged, the first time we met him, actually, we met him in the Lake District. We had a caravan for sale, and John and Ali were looking at these caravans, and I said, come and look at ours. And I kept looking at him, thinking, I've seen him somewhere before. He's like a smaller version of Tom Jones, I thought. Honestly, he had the tight hair, and I'm thinking, and I said to my wife, I said, he looks like Tom Jones with a Sheffield accent. And as we've grown, he changes all the time, you know, like when a wolf man changes from a man to a wolf. So then he changed from him, and the next thing, he's like, it looks a bit like Van Morrison. And then lo and behold, whilst we're in America and he flies out, he has this little hat on. And he was the spitting image of Elvis Costello. And when I say the spitting image of Elvis Costello, bearing in mind we have a film crew with us. And we're filming. John flew out to Nashville, that's when we first met. And we're filming, and there's people think we're filming John. Elvis, of course. And they wouldn't take no for an answer. There's more people came up and got photographs stuck next to John. Elvis Costello, Elvis. And at the end of it, John obviously thought, well, I'll not say anything, and just went along with it. And it was amazing, really. And so there's a lot of people in America will have photographs up on the wall of Elvis Costello with them and the kids. And I don't want to burst your bubble, but I'd just take another look at it. You know. But anyway, same height, same stature, definitely not the same voice. But yes, John, can you tell us a little bit about that, being an impersonator of these famous people, please?
That's not strictly true. I mean, it is true that people did come up to me while we were filming. And
you weren't saying, my name's John Young from Sheffield?
No, I did it. They came up and asked, as you know, while we were filming on the street, and I said, I wasn't, and the guy didn't believe me and said, can I have his photo taken with me anyhow? So I did that. And then, as you know, we got back to the hotel, and there's a guy there comes up to me in the hotel and says, oh, Mr. Costello, can I have my photo taken with you? And my son would like to be on it too. And I said, well, I'm not, no, I understand. I said, well, anyhow, I had my photo taken with him and his son. And the next day, evidently, our producer said, oh, have you seen Facebook? Well, I don't do Facebook. It's all over Facebook saying that this guy's had a wonderful time in Nashville at the ice hockey, but an even better time meeting his hero, Elvis Costello. So it wasn't my fault.
This went on right through America.
Well, it did. I have to
Clear
admit,
Lake.
It went on to Clear Lake.
I mean, the guy wanted you to sign his guitar, John.
He did, yes. I didn't do that, by the way. Just for
well, no, because he invited you up to his room. He gave you his room number and said, "Will you come to my room and sign my guitar?"
So I am sorry, Elvis, the real Elvis.
No,
of
you're
course.
not. You're not.
No.
I was there. You were even when they were talking about Elvis's wife, and you're saying, "Oh yes, she's fine." This is, you're on radio now, John.
No, but he just asked me if I knew who his wife was. And I
Do you
said,
know
yes.
her personally?
No, I don't know.
No, but it looked like you did.
I don't think so.
No. Anyway, do you like Elvis Costello?
I do, yeah.
Well, I think personally, this is only my personal, just as an apology to Elvis, the least you could do is play one of his songs.
Well, if we're going to play an Elvis Costello song, then it has to be Alison.
Fantastic song. And this, again,
For
dedicated
to my wife.
Not his wife.
No, my
Your
wife. My lovely wife, Alison.
Well, Alison, you're having a good show tonight, Ali, aren't you? He must be after something. So make sure he's got a good dinner.
I'm shocked. I don't know about after something. I'm completely shocked. I'm just supposed to be a presenter on this show. And
Never mind present, just shut up.
Suddenly I'm sat here answering questions.
You're under the spotlight. So, Alison, by the famous, he sat opposite us. I can't get any better than that. By the famous, magnificent Elvis Costello. For Alison.
So funny to be seeing you after so long, girl. And with the way you look, I understand that you were not impressed. But I heard you let that little friend of mine take off your party dress. I'm not gonna get too sentimental like those other sticker Valentines, 'cause I don't know if you are loving somebody. I only know it isn't mine. Allison, I know this world is killing you. Oh, Allison, my aim is true. Well, I see you got a husband now. Did you leave your pretty fingers lying in the wedding cake? You used to hold him right in your hand. I bet it took all he could take. Sometimes I wish that I could stop you from talking when I hear the silly things that you say. I think somebody better put out the big light, 'cause I can't stand to see you this way. Allison, I know this world is killing you. Oh, Allison, my aim is true. My aim is true.
your obvious passion for football, it must have taken you to lots of places when you followed them around the country. And as
Yeah.
you say, you used to go abroad to watch them, I believe.
Yeah. Well, they've never actually played abroad, John.
Oh no, sorry.
Not in a competitive game.
Oh, right,
So
yes.
I don't want anybody phoning in or going on at me because unfortunately we've never played in a European competition
right.
yet.
Well, as you know, I'm not a
I know you
football
know, I know
fanatic in any way.
Yeah.
But I know I've seen you with your shirt off and you've got a tattoo, Blade for Life,
That's
on
correct.
your chest.
Yeah.
Which I thought was just somebody scribbled a bit of ink on when I first saw it. But you told me, explained what it was.
Yeah.
You know, so as you've travelled around, but apart from that, you've done it with your work. I mean,
Yeah.
you've been all over the world with your
Yeah.
work. Tell us somewhere in our country, in the UK, or Europe,
Yeah.
you know, where's your favourite place in Europe?
Oh dear. In Europe.
Bear in mind, John, we've asked lots of these questions to a lot of our people.
I know we have,
And
I know.
we sitting there
I
thinking,
know.
and they can't answer them. Now you're under the spotlight.
Yeah.
So-
there are two favourite places.
You can only have one.
Can I not have two?
No, you can't, can you? It's like I've got two favourite wives. You've only got one, mate.
Right. I suppose
Unless you were like, Muslim, you could have more than one wife. but you've only got one.
the favourite place has to be the Isle of Skye.
Yes. I've never been yet.
No,
But I will go.
it is amazing, and we've been fortunate in our adult life, my wife and I, to have travelled to many places in Europe and around the world. But in Europe, the Isle of Skye has some special memories for me, for my wife, and I would say that's probably my favourite go-to place.
Is that if the weather's good?
Well, funnily enough, we've been there when it's been 3 foot deep in snow, and we've also just recently been there to take my wife's mother's ashes, actually, and scattered them with her father's ashes, who were taken there 20 years ago. And the weather was amazing. That was in May. It was 22 degrees.
So did you take their ashes there because they like that place, or just because you like it?
No. Alison's parents love Scotland, as we do, and we her dad particularly loves Skye. We found a lovely place to take the ashes to, and sadly, Alison's mum passed away in December last year, and of course, it was the obvious thing to do, to take her ashes up there and scatter
And will they
them.
be happy to get together?
They will be very happy because it's a beautiful spot, and we took Alison's sister with us as well this time, and we had a great trip, and the weather was
So can I take your ashes up there?
absolutely. I'm hoping they'll go there as well. Yeah,
Is that where you want to go?
I think so. Yes.
Did you hear that, Ali? So you know exactly where he wants to go now. Maybe he's not yet, but when he's ready.
Yeah.
Right, so the Isle of Skye.
Mm-hmm.
You said two. Come on, I'll give you another one. Not Sheffield.
No,
Let's get away
I
from
would say it's a place called Rochlong, where my son is actually on his way to now, where we spent many, many happy family holidays. We had a caravan there. It's down in the south of France. And it was just an amazing place. We've loved caravanning, not towing caravans, by the way, just static caravans. We've loved that kind of holiday. We have 2 wonderful kids, and as I said to you earlier, we've got 5 gorgeous grandchildren now. But when our children were little, we used to go there, and I have so many happy memories of that place. So it would be Rochlong, which is a small village.
So is Liam there now?
He's on his way there now.
Oh, grand. I hope the car's going all right, Liam. And having a great holiday.
Yeah, I hope so.
Good lad. Can Liam speak French as well?
No.
No. I mean, John and Ali do speak French. I know Ali speaks it fluent. In actual fact, we were in a chemist in Spain, and we went in, they only spoke French. And fortunately for us, Ali was with us, and we got what we wanted.
Yeah.
That was amazing. That was rather surreal, wasn't it?
Yes. Yeah.
But, so right, okay, you've got those two places.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a particular song that you can relate to your time in France or your time in the Isle of Skye?
Yeah, I can give you 2 songs probably.
Well, would you like 2 songs?
If that's all right with you.
Probably. Well, can you or not?
Yeah, I can
All
give you
right,
2.
well, give us 2 songs then.
I think memories of going down to France in the car, Julio Iglesias, Begin the Begin. And I think for the Isle of Skye would have to be the Skyboat song.
Would have to be?
The Skyboat song.
The Skyboat song.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure who the artist is, but I'm sure you'll find that.
Well, Mr. Young, we're going to have...
Julio Iglesias, Begin the Begin.
I couldn't pronounce the Begin. So we have Begin
Begin the Begin.
by Julio Iglesias and the Skyboat song by We Don't Have a Clue, but we will find it.
Yes, thank you.
Cheers.
When they begin, quiero sentir las cosas de siempre. Quiero saber si tú aún me quieres. Quiero volver a empezar. When they begin, quiero saber qué fue de tu vida. Quiero saber si todo se olvida para volver a empezar. Y yo que siempre jugué con tu amor hasta el final, y seguro yo estaba que tú aún me querías. Hoy al ver que ya todo acabó, que no daría para volver a empezar. Día a día te hacías querer un poco más. ¿Quién me iba a decir que una vez te perdería? Y hoy al verme tan solo sin ti, que no daría para volver a empezar. When they begin, quiero sentir las cosas de siempre. Quiero saber si tú aún me quieres para volver a empezar. Y yo que siempre jugué con tu amor hasta el final, y seguro yo estaba que tú aún me querías. Hoy al ver que ya todo acabó, que no daría para volver a empezar. Día a día te hacía ¿Quién me iba a decir que una vez te perdería? Y hoy al verme tan solo sin ti que no daría para volver a empezar. Yo que siempre jugué con tu amor hasta el final.
Speed bunny boat like a bird on the wing, onward the sailors cry. Carry the lad that's born to be king over the sea to sky. Loud the wind howls, loud the waves roar, thunderclaps rend the air. Baffled our foes stand on the shore, follow they will not dare. Speed bonny boat like a bird on the wing, onward the sailors cry. Carry the lad that's born to be king over the sea to sky. Many's the lad fought on that day, well the claymore did wield. When the night came, silently lay, dead on Culloden field. Speed bonny boat like a bird on the wing, onward the sailors cry. Carry the lad that's born.
Right, ladies and gentlemen, that was Begin the Begin by Julio Iglesias and the Skyboat Song by the Corries. Now, John, you hail from Sheffield.
Yep.
You've always lived in Sheffield. You worked in Sheffield.
Yep.
Oh, you live in Derbyshire now, don't you? Just over. Aye.
Yeah. Okay, I live in Derbyshire now, but I'm from
just
Sheffield.
over. It's just over the Mason.
That's correct.
Yeah, it's just over the Mason City line.
That's it.
But what do you think sets Sheffield, that area, apart from the rest of the country?
I suppose everyone, wherever they hail from, have a soft spot for their particular town, city, village. I just think that it's a very down-to-earth city. The people are very friendly, and it's just a nice place to live. There's lots of greenery around. We have the Derbyshire.
Not many good
Peak
restaurants,
District.
though, is there?
There are a few good restaurants now.
Well, you
I
haven't took me to one yet.
I know, but I'm working on that. But no, it's...
We went to a hotel owned by Dick Van Dyke. What's all that about?
No, but it was a very heavy industrial city, as I keep saying to you. But now that's changed. The city now is a clean air city and has been for many, many years. And as I said to you, you know, it's got... I think Sheffield has more trees than any other city in Europe. And, you know, it has changed a hell of a lot. And the people have remained the same, I think. Their outlook, they're friendly people, you know, and it's just a nice place to live.
I like the programme down there because my father used to deal with a guy down there called Walter Heselwood in Sheffield and Dr. Lane.
Yeah.
And there was a programme on a couple of years ago, I think it was, about a brothel on Dr. Lane. And it was a really entertaining programme.
Yes, yes.
Because I'm sure I saw you coming out.
No, you didn't see me. I don't know where it is, by the way.
You do know where it is?
I know the location.
Oh, do you? So is it on Dr. Road?
I've never actually been.
No, but folks, no, seriously, it was a heck of a great show. And they got an old ice cream van, I think, and they converted it into a mobile brothel. And the madam...
I don't know, I can't comment on
No, but no, I think Sheffield's come on a long way since then.
Yeah, it's like it's had to reinvent itself, and I think it's doing okay. It could do better, like lots of cities, but it's still a nice place to live. It has a great university. We have lots of Chinese students actually come to Sheffield University now, so it's a very diverse city.
Right. I mean, the likes of Newcastle and the likes of the North East. I know that Sheffield have some fantastic artists, musicians, singers from that area. One comes to mind, Richard Hawley.
Yeah.
Is there any particular artist that you, from Sheffield, who you do like, that you'd like to play one of their songs?
They're all good artists. You mentioned Richard Hawley, Paul Carrick, Joe Cocker.
Oh, Joe Cocker, amazing.
And lots of others, and forgive me for not mentioning them all by name.
Joe Cocker isn't in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, do you know?
No, I know that, and Joe, bless him, I think was a great ambassador for the city, and he was a gas fitter when he left school, and he had a great voice. But for me, there's one particular song that Paul Carrick sang, and sadly he's a Sheffield Wednesday supporter, but I'll forgive him that. And I like his version of Grooving.
Grooving. So
By
would you
Paul
like
Carrick.
that song?
I'd love to have that song played.
Right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to play this song Grooving by Paul Carrick. Now, John, we're at that stage in the show now where I ask you if you'd like to own something for one day, whatever it would be, and it's only one day, you've got to give it back the next day, what would it be? And you've sat with me asking people this question before, and now you're sat there.
I know, looking into space.
Yes.
If I'd like to own something for one day.
And if you can actually get it today instead of us waiting till tomorrow before you...
Yeah, I'm sorry, it really has caught me. If I'd like to own something for a day. Frank Sinatra's voice.
Not Earl Flynn's Tadger?
No. Frank Sinatra's voice.
Well, I think that would be a good choice. And if you did own Frank Sinatra's voice, what would you do with it?
I'd sing as many songs of his as I could. I'd record them all that day and say that, tell everybody it's me.
Well, you might as well, because you've been everybody else.
Yeah, I'm good at that. I accept that.
The only trouble is, you don't really look like Frank Sinatra.
No.
Like if you had...
I'll accept that.
No, but just think, if you actually had Elvis Costello's voice for the day when we were in America, and you sang some of his songs, that would have been good, wouldn't it? Instead of just looking like him, you actually sound like him. And you know, when you actually met him, because he could have had a bad day, and he might not have, he had a bit bad throat.
Yeah.
And if he'd met you and he was a bit croaky, and they might think he was the imposter.
Well, there's always the possibility if we can get Damien to help. Damien, by the way, is our producer and engineer, who's a great guy. We could perhaps get him to help me record a few Elvis songs and help with the voice. You never know.
Okay.
But Frank Sinatra, I would love to own his voice for a day.
He's a master at what he does, but he isn't a magician, mate.
Right.
You know, he's good at what he does, but miracles, yeah.
All right.
Sorry about that one, John. He may look like him, but
right.
It's all right then. So you've got his voice.
Yep.
We're going to have a song, Frank Sinatra song. Okay, you've got his voice for a day. All of those songs that Frankie boy sang.
Yep.
Mr. John Young is going to sing for you today, Matthew.
The Summer Wind.
The Summer Wind.
The Summer Wind by Frank Sinatra.
Ladies and gentlemen, The Summer Wind by Little John Frank Sinatra.
The summer wind came blowing in from across the sea. It lingered there to touch your hair and walk with me. All summer long we sang a song, and then we strolled that golden sand. Two sweethearts and the summer wind, like painted kites, those days and nights, they went flying by. The world was new beneath a blue umbrella sky. Then softer than a piper man, one day it called to you. I lost you to the summer wind. The autumn wind and the winter winds, they have come and gone. And still the days, those lonely days, they go on and on. And guess who sighs his lullabies through night never end. My fickle friend, the summer wind, the summer wind, warm summer wind, the summer wind.
Well, that was The Summer Wind, sung by Little John with Frank Sinatra's voice.
I actually saw Frank Sinatra at the Docklands Arena in London in his later years, and he sang that particular song, and it's always been a favourite of mine. And I couldn't believe, out of all the songs that he's recorded, he actually sang that song. I think he sang it for me, actually.
Well, he's probably looking at you saying, "Bah, he's a spitting dab on me, that lad." He's just saying, I think he's looking in a mirror, hasn't he? I'm surprised he didn't sing something like, Mac the Knife to you.
That's a good song as well.
Yeah, Bobby Darin.
Yeah.
Right, I mean, obviously, we've asked the questions about your hobbies. But you've been retired a while now. And I know the son and your daughter, they're in business, and I think, how do you fill your time in most of the time? I know you with your art and your family, you've got your grandchildren, as you're saying, they'll be on holiday now, of course.
Well, I think, unfortunately, I spend a lot of time worrying about my friend on the radio show. No, I'm joking.
Is mental stability, you mean?
Well, yeah, mainly is mental health. But
Yes.
No, I think I sold. My wife and I sold our business because I'd had some ill health. I'd had a heart bypass, and I just felt that.
I must say it's holding up pretty well, isn't it? That
Yeah,
bypass?
it's not a swinging brick, is it? As well, and you test it to the limit at times, John. I've got to say that.
Right, okay.
But no, and I think I just thought that who knows what's going to happen in the future, or no one knows. And we've got children and grandchildren, and I wanted to make sure that we could spend as much time with them as we could. And I just I talked with my wife because she was involved in the business. She's my co-director, and we decided to sell the business and retire. And retire to what? We weren't sure. In real terms, I don't play golf, neither does my wife. Everybody seems to play golf, but that's not what sails my boat.
You impersonate people, that's what you do.
Yeah, I obviously I started to do a little bit of that, and I think over the last few years, the movie that you've been making and I've become part of as well has taken up a big chunk of time for both of us, which has absolutely been an incredible time for me to think that a lad from Sheffield grew up okay. I had my own engineering company and I've no complaints about the way that's turned out. But then to suddenly find that I'm involved with a friend making a film in America, travelling around America, meeting lots of people and one or two famous people along the way, and making this movie has been amazing.
It would be amazing if somebody got it out there so we could see it.
Well, that's the ultimate goal, and I think for anyone who's listening, the film is finished, but not completely finished, and I'm sure when it's out there, it will be a great film. People will enjoy it. It's just taking a little bit longer than we thought, but I know it will be sorted out the production.
Well, that's enough of the film. I'm sick of it now because it's been 5 years out of my life.
Well, I know that, but the production,
And,
the production issues will be sorted out. The film will be out there.
I hope so, John. You know,
and people will go and see it, I'm sure.
can you not impersonate being there at the BBC or something like that and just say right?
Well,
and just go in and take it in. Or something?
I wish I could, but no, it will be out there, folks. For anybody who's listening, the film.
Trouble is, we've had that many people saying, "Oh yeah, it's great, we're interested," and they look at it, they have it for a few weeks. You can't give it to anybody else, and then when they come back, they say, "Well, we're doing something similar or what?" You know, I think that's the problem. But I am optimistic.
We're obviously not in control of that, but I do think that it will be out there, and I think there are other. It may be that there are other things that have come to light that now could be added to the film, which you full well know about because you are the owner of these tapes that have suddenly appeared with some amazing interviews on with rock stars who are no longer with us, and I think maybe they should be included in the movie. So that's something for discussion, but I'm pretty sure.
I mean, I think I'm the same as John. We've met a lot of amazing people.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, one who stands out for me is Austin Alsop.
Yes,
who's a great young guy, and he's a country musician from Texas, and you know, he's been amazing. He was Tommy Alsop's. Well, he is Tommy Alsop's son.
Mm-hmm.
Tommy unfortunately died a couple of years ago. He's the guy who flipped the coin with Richie Valens for the plane ride, and if it wasn't for Tommy losing, we'd never have met Austin because obviously he wouldn't be here.
No,
but you know, it has been an amazing journey, and you know, I'm a little bit down about it, obviously, but John keeps me going, and I'm sure we're looking at something shortly. I think there's going to be a programme made about it. But let's get away from the film now because I'm getting depressed again. Right, John. Have you got a favourite book? Or a favourite... Well, we've gone through the artist. Painting, obviously.
Yeah.
Jackson Pollock.
I think I have to say, and you know, my wife would berate me for this. I'm not a big...
Not the Beano. Not
no,
the Beano.
I'm not a big reader of books. You know, I'm an avid reader of current affairs and information about what's happening in the world. But in terms of books and authors, I wouldn't say.
You're a big Twitter, aren't you?
Yes, I do that. But no, going back to books, there is a book that I read a long time ago. Which I thoroughly enjoyed, and it's called The Moon's a Balloon by David Niven.
Oh, right. Now that'll be.
It was an autobiography. It was an autobiography, and I do like books that are about people, factual books. That's not to say that fiction isn't good or anything like that, but I'm more interested in things that actually happen.
Well, you are like fictitious, aren't you?
Yes.
Really, when you're taking part of other people, that's fiction, really.
Yeah.
But I think in your mind, sometimes you actually think you're them.
Yeah. And there's a current author, Anthony Horowitz, who actually wrote the series for Foyle's War, which I'm a big fan of. I actually love that series. I think it's a historical series set during and just after the Second World War, and I think it's an excellent series. And so I think he's a guy who I admire as well. Going to an artist, well, clearly, I think I do like Jackson Pollock. I do like what he does, and to some extent, I suppose I've copied his work because I enjoy doing that. And maybe that's because that's all I can do. I couldn't really sit and paint your portrait. It'd probably look like my 5-year-old granddaughter had done it.
Well, the stuff you do now does.
And
So, be fair.
So I do enjoy. I do enjoy.
But John, a talented 5-year-old man, not just any old 5-year-old, a talented 5-year-old.
I know.
You know what I mean?
I do enjoy that.
I like the colours.
And a famous performer or artist.
Well, there's so many. I think, like as you said, with Frank Sinatra.
There are lots. I like a wide range of music, as you know. But going back to my soul roots, Stevie Wonder, I just think has a phenomenal voice. And if you're asking me to pick a favourite of his...
Well, I haven't yet. I haven't asked you.
But if you did ask me...
But I haven't. I might not ask you that one anyway, because I'm...
No, but you've asked me who my favourite artist...
Yeah, but I'm not. I haven't asked you what song you want.
Well, are you going to ask?
I want to ask you what your most treasured possession is before that.
My most treasured possession? My family.
Well, son.
It has to be my family.
Well, I totally agree with that. Well, would you like a Stevie Wonder song now?
Not really now.
No. All right, then we'll go on.
No, yeah, I'd love a Stevie Wonder song, John. The song's called Moving On, and I think that's what you have to do in life.
So this Moving On, is that the same song that Buddy Holly used to sing at the start of every show?
No, it's not the same song, but it is called Moving On, and I just think it's a beautiful song, and I think in life...
Dylan sang it. Is this the same? No?
No.
Okay.
I think it's just a beautiful song, and you know, and it just...
All right, we've heard you go on. So we're going to have Moving On by the amazing, talented Stevie Wonder.
Thank you.
Like a long, lonely stream, I keep running towards a dream. Moving on, moving on. Like a branch on a tree, I keep reaching to be free. Moving on, moving on.
You know, when times are bad and you're feeling sad, I want you to always remember, yes, there's a place in the sun where there's hope for everyone, where my poor restless heart's gotta run. I know
That was Moving On by Stevie Wonder. Amazing song, John.
Yeah,
good
great.
choice, that, mate.
Thank you.
Good choice. Good pianist, him and all. I can't play a piano.
I wish I could.
The only thing I was ever good at playing was truant. I was never. I was good at that, John. The kitty cat you never caught. Us,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know. Right, so you're walking down the street, you bump into somebody. They've just landed here on a plane. Come from Timbuktu or somewhere, right?
Yeah.
If they said, hey, where do I go? I've landed here in your country now. Is there anywhere you can tell us that? Get yourself there, pal. Go on, get yourself down there. Is there anywhere in the UK you could say, look, that's the place to go, and it's a special place. And why is it special? Well, we've already had the Isle of Skye, so you can't say that.
No.
So you're going to have another special place. Even if you haven't got one, you have to make one up.
Well, maybe a special place in England.
Don't say heaven. Maybe in heaven.
No, not heaven. No. Where would be special in England?
And bearing in mind, after you've answered this question, I'm going to ask you to pick a piece of music to relate to that.
Oof.
We can pick that later on if you want. We'll not spoil a good thing.
You know what?
Can
John?
you hurry up a bit?
Sometimes I think, yeah.
Are you falling asleep or something?
No, just getting up in the morning and saying to my wife, let's go to the coast. And
No, but it's not your wife. This is somebody.
No,
Just
I
put
make-
in the street. You can't say, well, just go to the
okay,
coast.
okay.
They don't know.
No, if
when
I-
you live in Sheffield, you're like a million mile off any coast. That's no good to me, mate. I
If-
want an answer.
Right. If I told someone to go and see something,
You needn't repeat my question. Just answer it.
I know I'm trying my best here. I'm
Why,
struggling.
your best's not
I'm
good enough,
struggling.
mate?
Well, London, I think, is an amazing place.
Everybody says
No,
London.
right, but
Well, all right, London.
no, London is an amazing place because I think there's so much diversity. There's so much to see and do. But if you want,
You're giving us an inferiority complex in the northeast.
No.
It's always London.
no, well, I'll tell you where.
What about Newcastle on Tyne, like?
Well, they're all blokes who live there.
But Vera's up there. You love
Well, I like
Vera.
Vera in the northeast. I was going to say to you, you know, somewhere that is very, very beautiful, Bamborough.
Bamborough Castle, Bamborough.
All that coast up there,
Northumberland.
North Sunderland,
Yes.
that coast, that area is beautiful.
Fabulous.
And I would say to someone, if they wanted natural beauty, to probably go somewhere like that. The
And would you
castle at
pick a
Bamborough.
song like Fog on the Tyne to go with it?
No, I wouldn't pick that. I'd probably pick...
Bluebirds over
No,
the white
you know,
cliffs of Dover.
I'd like to pick a song that... I can't specifically pick one that relates to that area, but I'd like to pick a song that perhaps goes with that sea and the coastline up there, and La Mer by Bobby Darin.
La Mer, or Across the... What's that other one?
Beyond the Sea.
Oh, I love that song.
I said La Mer because there's a French version by Charles Trenet,
Yes.
which I actually think is amazing as well.
So you're going to have the French version, are you?
I tell you what,
Say I voted Brexit, he didn't.
I'll tell you what, let's play La Mer by Charles Trenet.
Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, not my choice, but it's his show. La Mer.
La Mer by Charles Trenet.
Well, I'll not say that, he's already said it. So that's what we're going to do, play that song for him. Thank you.
La mer qu'on voit danser le long des golfes clairs a des reflets d'argent. La mer, des reflets changeants sous la pluie. La mer au ciel d'été confond ses blancs moutons avec les anges si purs. La mer, bergère d'azur infinie. Voyez, près des étangs, ces grands roseaux mouillés. Voyez, ces oiseaux blancs et ces maisons rouillées. La mer les a bercés le long des golfes clairs et d'une chanson d'amour la mer a bercé mon cœur pour la vie. La mer qu'on va danser le long des golfes clairs a des reflets d'argent. La mer, des reflets changeants sous la pluie. La mer, au ciel d'été, confond ses blancs moutons avec les anges si purs. La mer, bergère d'azur infinie. Voyez, près des étangs, ces grands roseaux mouillés. Voyez, ces oiseaux blancs et ces maisons rouillées. La mer, elle les a bercés le long des golfes clairs et d'une chanson d'amour. La mer a bercé mon cœur pour la vie.
That was La Mer by some French bloke, I can't tell you. But that was who
It was Charles Trenet.
Charles Gauguin and La Mer. Right, John. He's a good one. You ask it, well, it's the same sort of thing, I suppose. But if you're on a desert island,
Yeah,
you can only take one album with you.
yeah.
I mean, album's a bit old hat now, but remember, you've got like
No,
a record player.
I'd have a record player, yeah.
You that do?
Yeah.
I know electric, that one that we wind up with hand, because we know electric.
Yeah.
So you go onto a desert island.
Mm-hmm.
Now, bearing in mind, I mean, I know you're getting on, but you might have a few years left yet.
Yeah.
So you want something, this is the only album you're going to ever listen to for the rest of your life. I know you have noises going in your head and voices and that, but apart from them ones, this is music that you're going to listen to on a record player for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
One album.
Yeah.
Think about it.
Well,
don't rush in, fools rush in, man.
When I was a little kid.
Oh.
No, actually, not when I was a little kid. I don't think you remember. Do you have an Asda up here? Do you have Asda up here,
Yeah.
supermarket?
Yeah.
I used to go to the Asda and buy these LPs.
I think it's owned by them who own Walmart.
Well, you like them, because
I love
obviously you're obsessed by.
Hey, when I go to America, you can't get us out of Walmart.
John has a fetish for Walmart. He has to go and visit Walmart, and I don't know why he likes to walk around, but he has to visit Walmart.
I love it.
Anyhow, no, Asda used to sell those LPs where the top of the hit parade sang by anonymous people.
Oh, you're kidding. You couldn't pick one of them.
No, well, I'm not picking one of those, no. If I had one album to take with me...
Would it be a stamp album, John?
It would be an album... I would have to say again, by Stevie Wonder. Well, I know, John, but...
We've just had him on, man.
Well...
No, you're all right.
You're asking me...
Well, I'm not going to play another Stevie Wonder one for you yet, anyway, so there you go.
If I had a choice of album...
Well, you've done it now. You've said it. You can't just change willy-nilly, man. You're on a desert island. Do you think, oh, I'll not have that one now?
Well, I'd take Fulfillingness First Finale by Stevie Wonder.
Who? Is that the name of the album?
The album is called Fulfillingness First Finale by Stevie Wonder.
For what?
Fulfillingness.
Fulfillingness First Finale?
That's correct.
Well, that's a mouthful, isn't it?
It is. And it's a great album.
Well, and is that... Well... I'm not playing that yet anyway. Well, I'm not playing a song off that yet anyway. Is that song you've just had on, is that a fact?
No, it's not. It's nothing to do with that. It's
okay, well, we'll have one. But let's move on to another question first, because I'm a bit close together. You know, I don't want too many
Well,
Stevie
you're
Wonder
asking me
songs.
what I like.
Well, but I didn't say I'm going to
Yeah,
play
but-
the song, did I? No. So
Who's the guest?
don't worry about that. So who's the person you most admire and why? In the world. And I'm not talking about Ali and the family.
No,
I'm
I
talking
understand.
about
No, I
somebody who
understand
you say,
that.
wow, he stands
Yeah.
head and shoulders,
Yeah.
whether it be political, whether it be for what he's achieved in life or whatever.
Nelson Mandela. And no, the reason I chose...
Well, can we have Nelson Mandela singing a Stevie Wonder song?
No, the reason I choose Nelson Mandela is I think that during the turmoil in South Africa, this man had been in prison for all those years, came out to become president, and actually brought the country through what could have been a bloodbath, and by being a decent, honest man, and you know, trying to heal lots of people's scars. And I think that's is just an example to other people of what can be achieved by compassion and understanding. So that's I would say that, John, honestly. That's
So, right, well, then we'll have a song now by Stevie Wonder off his album. What do you call the album again?
Fulfilling This First Finale.
And what's the song?
Overjoyed.
Overjoyed. I'm not overjoyed that you picked another Stevie Wonder one, like, but that's up to you, isn't it?
Well,
Overjoyed, Stevie Wonder for you and Nelson Mandela.
Thank you.
Champion.
Over time, I've been building my castle of love, just for two. Though you never knew you were my reason, I've gone much too far for you now to say that I've got to throw my castle away over dreams I have picked out a perfect come true. Though you never knew it was of you I've been dreaming. The Sandman has come from too far away for you to say come back some other day. And though you don't believe that they do come true. For did my dreams come true when I looked at you? And maybe too if you would believe, you too might be overjoyed, overloved over me. Over hearts I have painfully turned every stone, just to find I had found what I've searched to discover. I've come much too far for me now to find the love that I sought can never be mine. And though you don't believe that they do come true. For did my dreams come true when I looked at you? And maybe too if you would believe, you too might be overjoyed, overloved
Overjoyed by Stevie Wonder. Did you like that?
I liked it very much, John.
Right, John. Well, you know when you flew out to America when we were filming,
Yep,
you met us in Nashville.
yep.
And as you know, I'm a massive country fan.
You are indeed.
And you kindly arranged for us to go to the George Jones Museum.
That's correct.
And George Jones was one of the most respected country stars of all time. His first #1 hit being White Lightning, written by J.P. Richardson, aka the Big Bopper. And that was absolutely amazing. And whilst we were there, we met this guy, I can't remember his name, the big lad, and he took us to the Nashville Palace.
He did indeed, yeah. And I can't remember the guy's name myself.
Anyway, it was absolutely fantastic, wasn't he?
He was.
And whilst we were there, because I realised that you like country music as well, obviously with the Glenn Campbell stuff.
Yeah.
But likes of George Jones, had you heard of any of his stuff before? You were involved with the actual movie, Bopper and Me?
No, not really. I mean, I knew the guy's name, George Jones. I know he was a country singer. But if you'd have asked me what he sang...
So, let's go to the countryside. So, obviously you do like the odd country song.
I do indeed, yeah.
Is there any country artist that you would like to think, well, he's the best? I mean, it's difficult, I know, but I know you're a Johnny Cash fan.
I'm a big Johnny Cash fan. I do like Johnny Cash. I also like Glenn Campbell. I think Glenn was...
Yes.
What I say was a great singer. I know he's got an illness now. And
No, Glenn Campbell's dead, John.
Are you sure?
I'm positive.
Right.
Sorry, mate. And I am right this week.
Yes, I think you are.
I am. No, you needn't think about it. I know I am. Yeah.
Yeah, so there is a particular song that I do like very much, and that's Galveston by Glenn Campbell.
Well, I don't particularly like that one, so I don't think I'll play that one for you.
Right.
No, I do. I love it. I'm only kidding. So I think we'll play that song, Galveston, the absolutely awesome Glenn Campbell.
Thank you.
Galveston, oh Galveston, I still hear your sea winds blowing. I still see her dark eyes glowing. She was 21 when I left Galveston. Galveston, oh Galveston, I still hear your sea waves crashing while I watch the cannons flashing. I clean my gun and dream of Galveston. I still see her standing by the water, standing there looking out to sea. And is she waiting there for me on the beach where we used to run? Galveston, oh Galveston, I am so afraid of dying. Before I dry the tears she's crying, before I watch your seabirds flying in the sun at Galveston, at Galveston.
That was Galveston by Mr. Glenn Campbell. Wonderful song. Sad, very sad what happened to Glenn.
Yes, yeah, truly sad, yeah.
When we were out in Nashville, then we went from Nashville to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in Cleveland.
We did.
Then we made our way up to Iowa,
Clear Lake, yeah.
Clear Lake, to the winter dance party at the Surf Ballroom.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I know you'll probably be listening, Ali, but I have some news to tell you. You don't know this, and I think Little John's been a bit unfaithful to you, because I've actually got a photograph of him with his arms around this lady. And to be fair, Ali, she was smaller than you. I mean, smaller than him. She was. And, obviously, he's told me about this. He used to fantasise about this lady when he was younger. And I think it was his mum and dad loved her as well. She was and still is. And I think she is still alive.
She is still alive, but I think, yeah, my mum and dad liked her.
And yes,
yeah.
But you liked her as well.
Oh, yes.
You said, you before you met her, but you didn't realise she was 90-year-old when you met her. And I've seen you with your arms around her, you know, towering above her like a giant.
Yeah.
But I do think that a song from this lady, but I'm going to pick this song, you see.
That's fine.
And I think it's a song that, if you were to pick this song for yourself, about yourself, I think this would be the perfect song for you. And it's a Brenda Lee song. Can you guess what it's called? Have a guess.
I can't. What are you going to choose?
What Kind of Fool Am I? Brenda Lee.
Thank you very much.
Play it again, Sam.
What kind of fool am I who never fell in love? It seems that I'm the only one that I have been thinking of. What kind of girl is this? An empty shell, a lonely shell in which an empty heart must dwell. What kind of lips are these that light with every kiss, that whispered empty words of love, that left me alone like these? Why can't I fall in love like any other girl? And maybe then I'll know what kind of fool I am. Why can't I fall in love like any other girl? And maybe then I'll know what kind of fool I am.
Well, John, as you know, we always have a laugh.
We do.
And especially when we're interviewing somebody else. But tonight, it's been great. It's like that programme. Have you seen them when they grill somebody?
I know.
The grilling of Little
I'm
John
completely
Young.
shocked, to be honest. I'd done my research on our guest, who you told me our guest was going to be.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought everything was correct. I'd got all the questions right, as I tried to do.
Mm-hmm.
And then suddenly there's no one here.
Well, you're here, aren't you?
Well, I am. That's very kind of
You
you.
know, and we've put you on the spot. And to be fair, you haven't done bad. Apart from picking a couple of songs twice and that, you know, like Stevie Wonder and that.
Yeah. I'm sorry about that.
You know. Well, you can't be perfect, can you?
No.
There's two of us here and there's only one perfect one amongst us.
That's fine.
You know, so I can't say any more really.
No.
But it's been great talking to you.
Thank you very much. I've really enjoyed it, actually.
You know, and I think we've had songs before, but I'll let you pick the song to finish the show off, eh? Well, I'm saying I'll let you. It's your choice. That's how it should be. I shouldn't say that.
No.
I should say, dear Mr. Young, would you like to pick a song to finish the show off, please?
Yes.
But not a Stevie Wonder one.
No.
Not Nelson Mandela involved in it.
No. Can I pick, and I hope I get this right, a Johnny Cash song?
Oh, well, you've made my day, haven't you?
Yeah.
Fantastic.
And I think it's called Man in Black.
Well, there is a song called Man in Black, and if that's the one you want, that's the one you're going to get.
Thank you.
All right?
That's great. Thank
Man
you
in
very
Black
much.
by the big man himself, Johnny Cash.
Well, you wonder why I always dress in black, why you never see bright colors on my back, and why does my appearance seem to have a somber tone? Well, there's a reason for the things that I have on. I wear the black for the poor and the beaten down, living in the hopeless, hungry side of town. I wear it for the prisoner who has long paid for his crime, but is there because he's a victim of the time. I wear the black for those who've never read or listened to the words that Jesus said about the road to happiness through love and charity. Why, you think he's talking straight to you and me? Well, we're doing mighty fine, I do suppose, in our streak of lightning cars and fancy clothes. But just so we're reminded of the ones who are held back, up front there ought to be a man in black. I wear it for the sick and lonely old, for the reckless ones whose bad trip left them cold. I wear the black in mourning for the lives that could have been. Each week we lose 100 fine young men. And I wear it for the thousands who have died, believing that the Lord was on their side. I wear it for another 100,000 who have died, believing that we all were on their side. Well, there's things that never will be right, I know, and things need changing everywhere you go. But till we start to make a move to make a few things right, you'll never see me wear a suit of white. Oh, I'd love to wear a rainbow every day and tell the world that everything's okay. But I'll try to carry off a little darkness on my back till things are brighter. I'm the man in black.
This has been a Junkyard Dog production on behalf of Mod Radio, featuring the two Johns and our producer, Damien Blackwell.
Talk to you later. Just save it for another guy.
somebody else you've impersonated, so they don't know they're friends of yours. You know.
Yeah, I know.
So
No, that's all I can say
well,
to you. Really.
all I can say is I'm very proud to be called one of your friends.
Thank you.
I hope I'm included in that one.
You are.
No, John, as always, I've enjoyed the day. We've talked about all sorts. We've had lots of your favourite songs, but at the end now we've got to play.
Right. Okay.